Thank you, Kelly. Let's do that again.
Okay.
So this is hey, welcome to the show.
I am Patty.
And I'm Jeff. And this is the WDWpov Disney
Couples
Podcast.
Episode 2.
Woo!
I like we've done this before.
That will get edited out of the podcast version. So yes, forgot to click the stupid little microphone mute thing. Whatever.
So
thank you, Kelly, though. Thank you for letting us know.
Jeff does have an incredible shirt. I do not.
Why do you not have
Why do I not have an incredible shirt? I will tell you why I do not. Because in true mom fashion, when I went to the store, you got one, Jack got one, Marcus got one. They did not have one incredible shirt for women in the store. Secondly, when I got online to buy them, I think I paid like either $15 or $20 for yours. The woman's version was like $35. And I said, I'm not paying that much. So I never bought one. And then I thought I had one because I remembered we were all in red in our last Disney trip.
Is this the shirt?
This is the shirt I wore.
This is the shirt you wore.
And I just bought a cheap V-neck tee in red. And when I thought I had one, so I never bought one.
And I thought you had one too. And then we realized it wasn't. Now, if you don't want us to blend in so much with the background, we could do this one. But then you're not going to be able to see. Yeah, that's not bad. You're like, not if I move, I'll just move out of here.
Okay,
so Dash could come in there for a second.
So let's get started. Okay.
Well, okay.
We are going to talk. This is a power couple we are talking about.
Power couple. They're supers.
They are supers.
Super
but
couple.
Even when they're not super, they are still a power couple.
Can I say something before we start?
Go ahead.
So I'm going into this completely cold, okay? My wife has the outline here. Am I allowed to say this?
You can say this.
Okay. And let's do this because this is a podcast. Okay. We'll bring the mic down.
This is a podcast. Did you set it up so our voices record separately?
No.
You can set that up.
You can, but you need to have two separate mics.
Oh.
We only have the one mic.
We only have one mic.
If we had headphones with the mic, thing. So anyway.
So we're supposed to talk at the same level.
Well,
okay, go
on. Talk right into this. See, when you talk into this, you sound more like a podcaster.
Well, I'm not a podcaster.
You talk right into the mic.
This is incredible.
And then we need to get one of those things that blocks the mic. So if I spit, it doesn't get into the mic.
Okay.
So she has an outline. It's sitting right here on the desk here.
On my side.
On her side. I have not seen this outline. I have no idea what the outline is.
I made the outline. We watched movies. I took notes.
Yeah. Well, I watched the movie too.
You didn't take notes.
I did. Mental notes.
Well, then you have mental notes, but you didn't share the mental notes with me.
I said before the show, okay, so you've got an outline. Am I going to see the outline at all? And she says, no. And I quote, because I don't want to hear your perspective.
I did not say it like that.
I want your perspective.
I said I didn't want my perspective to cloud your perspective.
You said you said I don't want your perspective.
I didn't mean it that way.
So I'm going to leave now, and the show will be done solely by my wife. Oh,
no, that's not what I said.
Okay.
I said I did not want you reading my notes and it changing your perspective.
That's not what you said.
Maybe you should have made notes, and then after we had notes, we could have swapped notes.
Okay.
Wouldn't that have been working together?
But you did. That is what you said.
Okay. So
it was funny. I thought it was funny.
I will say that one of the things I love most about The Incredibles is how real they are. I selected this movie years ago for my vlog. I used Jack, and I called Melissa Violet, and Marcus was Dash.
Right.
And you were Mr. Incredible, and I was Mrs. Incredible.
Yeah.
And the reason I selected it was based on this one line. Violet says in the movie, "We act normal, Mom. I want to be normal. The only normal one is Jack, and he's not even toilet trained." And I selected that because our Jack wasn't even talking. Yeah. And, the thing is, we all want to portray ourselves as normal families. And there really isn't a normal family.
Definitely not looking at one here, that's for sure.
and we all try to put up this front like we have it together, we're normal. And, when you watch this movie, you see a very normal family, but they're dysfunctional.
Normal in the sense that they've got problems. They're not perfect. They have issues, with the personalities and, things that are going on. And that's exactly what life is like. That's what a real family's like.
And so even with their superhuman strength and their powers, underneath it all, they're just really a normal family trying to hold it together. And so that's why I picked Jack. I don't know if you ever knew that.
No, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I understood that.
I picked that for our son, and then we just became.
Yeah. And it all fit. It all sort of fit.
It did.
It did. Yeah.
Because there was no normal. So when the movie begins, what?
I'm not allowed to say anything, right?
No.
No. Okay. No.
Yes. Do you want to talk about what we ate today? So, one of my favorite scenes in this movie does deal with eating.
It's leftover night. Yeah. No. They had the leftover night.
They had leftovers.
We do that.
And there's chaos at the supper table. And how many times somebody spills milk, somebody, there's fighting. You're trying to talk about your day. And the kid, he's looking at me. He's touching me. He's,
Yeah.
Why did they get more than I got?
Yeah.
Very, very. Supper time is. And for those of you who've never seen the movie, I would recommend you go see it.
Has anyone out there not seen the movie? I hope everyone that's watching has seen
Mary
the movie.
says I have never seen the movie. Wow. Mary needs to watch this movie because it really is.
It's a classic.
It is. And so when the movie begins, we see Mr. Incredible.
It's a good movie.
And Elastigirl. She is not Mrs. Incredible, and she is not Helen Parr at this point. In the beginning of the movie, she is Elastigirl. And they are saving the world. And then they get married, and then something occurs. I'm not going to give it away.
I was going to say, Mary's not going to want to watch it if you give
something
the whole
occurs that they have to go into hiding and hide their true identities.
That's right.
Now, do you want what are some of Mr. Incredible's characteristics? Good or bad?
Good or bad? Well, I think he's a strong character. He is.
He's physically
strong. Yes, he is.
So he has superhuman strength.
Right.
Okay.
Not necessarily a good characteristic. Are you talking good and bad?
Yes, good and bad.
One of his bad characteristics has to work alone. Okay. He doesn't want help from anybody. He's got to do it all himself. I'm not saying that any of these characteristics are mine, by the way. Definitely not the super strength, that's for sure. But
okay, so that was my second thing I put. He has to work alone.
Yeah, he always has to work alone.
He has a passion and desire to save the world.
That's a good thing.
Okay.
Even when he's in the midst of trying to catch robbers, he still takes the time to help an elderly woman with her cat in a tree.
To get it all away.
To get the cat out of the tree. So I mean, he's there for the little guy. He's there for the big guy. Trying to get rid of criminals.
And so he not only saved the world, but he wants to help people because even when he is working in a day job that he hates,
in a non-super type job,
he hates his day job. And when he's working, he's doing things to try to help the people. Right.
He's just another cog in the wheel, but he still tries to find ways to make things better for society.
Okay. So how about some of his negative qualities? He's arrogant.
Yes, he is definitely arrogant.
Exceedingly arrogant and very prideful.
You think?
He wants to relive the glory days.
Yeah. I can relate to that sometimes.
And what Elastigirl wants and what his wife wants, what Helen Parr wants, and what Mrs. Incredible wants doesn't concern him.
You think?
Where do you think that he ever says he wants to relive his glory days? He wants to save the world still. But he wants her to stay home and take care of the family. And he doesn't really ever ask her. Do you ever hear anyone talk about what she wants?
Because he likes to work alone.
Okay. Okay. What about the big thing?
I think I know where you're going.
No,
with
I'm
that
not. I'm not directing you or trying in any way.
She's not trying to lead me in
I'm
any
not.
way.
No, would
No.
I do that?
No.
Would I do that? No, I wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't. Okay, I'm going to guess.
Okay.
I'm going to guess that the bad trait you're talking about is how he may not always have been. In the movie, there is a point where he is being somewhat dishonest or not telling the whole truth.
He lies.
I would say somewhat dishonest not telling the whole truth.
Okay, when he goes out bowling,
yeah.
Does he go bowling?
No, they're not bowling. He's out saving the world.
Okay, so he lies. And he
he's somewhat dishonest or not telling the whole truth. How's that?
And why does he do this?
Oh, you'll like the guy. He's a good guy.
Why does he do this?
Why does he do this? Well, there is later in the movie where he's not telling the whole truth and maybe hiding some things because he doesn't want to worry his wife. He's trying
because that always works.
He's trying to protect her from some of the truth that may cause her some harm. Not that I've ever done this in my life, even though when I have maybe not told the whole truth and held on to some things to try and protect my wife, it never worked out. Because she'll find out in the long run.
Now, nobody is forcing you. Nobody has forced you to say this. In fact, I want you stop it.
Can you stop wrenching my arm from behind my back? Ah!
And I want everyone.
No, you didn't. Oh, you didn't force me to say anything. Ah.
You stop it. I want everyone to understand that you actually said that you would probably bring this up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yeah.
So
that is one of the traits of Mr. Incredible. He's like I said, an incredible guy, but there are times where he does withhold some of the truth, or as my wife would say, lie, in order to try and protect his wife and or family,
or protect himself, from the wrath of his wife.
From the wrath of his wife, yes.
so and you, as you said, it never works out. It never does. That is something,
usually it backfires.
And not only that, but in marriage, what happens when it backfires? You lose the trust.
You lose trust.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really bad.
Yeah.
And it's always in my mind, it always was, well, if he's lying about something that's stupid, like what else is he lying about? That's where my mind would go.
Yeah. But I usually, if I've ever not told the truth or hid some of the
stupid things,
it was usually something stupid that I'm like, I should have just told her in the first place.
And people
Can I tell you a really big, no, I'm just kidding. I've got something to tell you right now while we're on live on this, and I'll edit it out.
Is this for ratings?
Yeah, it's a really biggie.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
So here's what usually.
Here.
Yeah, I got that. There was a notice of intent to levy assets, and it was a scam.
It was a scam. She opened this thing up, and it was basically saying that they were going to, they're going to, do all this bad stuff and levy this and levy that. I looked up the phone number that's on this official looking thing. She was all mad at me. She's like, "Why didn't you tell me about this?" And I'm like, "I don't know what this is. It's, it's very vague. It doesn't really give me any details." And I looked at it and I'm like, "I don't know what this is."
Okay, so that was a time where I got upset.
She got upset because she thought I was hiding something. But as it turned out, I looked up the number and there's like dozens of people saying, "Yeah, it's a scam. They're just trying to get your Social Security and this,
Okay, so for real.
But it was actually somewhat official looking. It actually had proper English. It actually looked semi-official. So I can't blame her for thinking that something was going on with that.
For real.
Mm-hmm.
For real.
Yeah.
When I hear people say, And a lot of times they do this, like these home party people, you go to a Tupperware party or you go to some other kind of party like that, and they'll say, we take cash, check, and a combination, or a cash, check, credit card, or a combination, if you're trying to not let your husband know how much you spent, and I don't get that.
Yeah.
That bothers me. The fact that we as a society encourage deceit among spouses.
Well, there was Jason on our stream here actually had pointed out something about when getting a gift. Like if I were to get you a gift, I might like, okay, here's when the kids, we used to get her something for her birthday or something, or Christmas, and I'd get something from the kids as well, and we would use this. She would ask, "Oh, so what did you guys get me?" And I told the kids, whatever she asks, you got to either tell her that we got a dehumidifier or an icicle. Those were the two things. So over the years, that's what they would do. Every time, what did they get you for Christmas? An icicle or a dehumidifier? It was a running gag. But yeah, I'm not going to say any. I mean, that's the one time I could legitimately say.
Yeah. But spending money, spending money. I think you need to be truthful about most things.
Yeah.
And when I say truthful, I mean not omitting facts because you don't want the repercussions of that. Like, when I bounced a series of checks, I mentioned this last time, I bounced a lot of checks because I made a huge subtraction error. And, instead of subtracting $1,500, I subtracted $15. So that made it look like we had a lot more money in the bank. And this is when everything was done on paper and pen.
All paper and pen.
And so you couldn't just look up your account at that point. And so had I been able to just look it up online like we have now, I would have seen, I made this mistake much sooner. Back then, you waited till you got all these bounce check things in the mail. I came and said, I messed up. And I think, maybe some spouses overreact sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think if you want to develop trust, you have to, the big and little things, you have to just be honest about.
Yeah.
So Elastigirl, let's talk about her.
Okay. Elastigirl.
She is very flexible. And I think when you look at their qualities, Mr. Incredible is incredible. He's
super strong, indestructible, practically indestructible.
Their names say a lot about them. Elastigirl is very flexible. Her personality is very flexible too.
Is she?
You don't think?
I think so. I didn't think of it in that sense, but yeah.
Well, Violet, people have wondered, like a shrinking Violet, and she is, and her superpower is invisibility
because she doesn't want to be seen.
She doesn't want to be seen, and Dash is his name is Dash, and he's fast,
sort of hyper, and
then there's Jack that we just don't know about him.
Yeah, at the time they don't know, no superpowers.
And Elastigirl wants to protect her family, but she is overprotective.
Okay, I'll go with that.
You don't see that?
Yeah, I do.
Her son wants to go out for track, but she won't let him.
Right.
Because
he'd be great. I'm sorry, that's a line from the movie.
Yes. So, but she has good intentions, but just like with Mr. Incredible, he has these good intentions, and so he omits the truth. She has good intentions, and she becomes overprotective of her family. She cares deeply for her family, and when you watch the movie, you really feel like you're watching a real family. The scene at dinner. Do you have the scene at dinner?
I do have the scene at dinner. I may break away briefly. Okay. See, I don't want to get kicked out or have any issues here.
Issues. Okay, so the scene at dinner will narrate.
I'm going to try. I could bring up some sound. You got to have some sound.
Oh, okay. He's going to bring up sound, so never mind. But maybe you need to know what's going on in the scene.
So in this scene, this is their dinner scene. Okay, and it's actually their leftover night. So they've got steak, and they've got meatloaf, and they've got whatever, all kind of different leftovers.
And I think most people do have leftover nights sometime. Like you get too many leftover containers in the refrigerator and everyone gets one serving of something.
And so they're having this dinner, and basically, Dash is starting to give Violet a hard time about this boyfriend or some kid at school.
He's teasing her, not a hard time. He's teasing.
Yeah, he's teasing her. Yeah. and it's basically Tony Ridinger. And so Dash is giving his sister Violet a hard time about it. They start to get into a little bit of a fight at the dinner table. And Dash is running around the table super fast. Violet pops up, a little force field, boom, Dash runs into it. They start fighting. Mrs. Incredible, or Helen Parr at this point, stretches out, grabs each of the kids, and then the kids end up underneath the dinner table fighting each other with her arms hanging over, around the table, trying to keep these kids in control. Mr. Incredible, Bob, he's reading the newspaper. He sees some news that he's like sort of disturbed about. So he's off in a completely different world, not realizing what's going on. And that's sort of where we're at this scene.
Is that how we're gonna say it? He's in a different world, not realizing what was going on. Okay, go
pretty much. I mean, that's pretty much. We'll see what happens here. So
do something. Don't just stand there. I need you to intervene.
You want me to intervene? Okay, I'm intervening.
I'm intervening.
And he picks up the table.
And the whole thing is just boom. So that's it was very quick, I know. But yeah, so basically he's off reading the paper. He sees some bad news. He's very disturbed about it, not paying attention. Helen's like, can you do something here? I'm dealing with these kids. And yeah, so he intervenes. He basically just picks the whole table up and takes the whole thing, so that was his way of handling it.
and we have Mary astutely saying he is being a man and oblivious to his wife needing help. I didn't say that.
That sounds rather sexist to me, but I will just, that's just me. Okay. I always pay attention every day, all the time.
I do think this is really, and here's a little fun fact. The movie's creator, Brad Bird, said, consciously, this was just a funny movie about superheroes. But I think what was going on in my life definitely filtered into the movie. Okay, so he was working at a job that was less than fulfilling. He wanted to work in animation. And, the interaction between the couples is a very, very common theme in many marriages.
Mm-hmm. No, it is. I'm just trying to look at something real quick.
So here is the one thing that I noticed about them. She does think that her way of doing things is correct with the kids.
Okay.
And a lot of couples have fights about parenting.
Really?
Yes.
I've never noticed that or had that.
Are you oblivious?
I've never seen that happen in our relationship or in our family.
There you are lying again. So parenting styles can differ without one being right and one being wrong. Now, I believe it's Incredible 2. It's Incredibles 2. Incredibles 2.
Not as good as the Incredibles, but that's another story. That's not what we're talking about tonight.
When I know we're not, but I'm bringing this up. When the youngest child, Jack, is being watched by mom, or taken care of by mom, he's
Mhm.
fully clothed.
Mhm.
When he's being taken care of by dad, he just has a diaper on.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I've never noticed that. Did you notice?
He's a minimalist.
Okay.
You know, if
But-
you don't have to go through the effort of putting clothes on the kid, why not?
So,
It just makes life
but
easier.
a lot of people think that there's, a lot of maybe moms
Mhm.
think there is one right way to parent.
I've never run into that in my life either.
Okay. And
Because I've never had an opinion on something that differed from yours. We always completely mesh on every thought, especially when it comes to the kids.
yes, absolutely. They do say that there is. They do. The
Who's they?
experts.
The
The experts,
experts.
not us. We don't.
The experts,
We
Bob.
play
The
par-
experts.
We play marriage experts.
Yeah.
On a podcast.
We're not.
We're not.
We're not the experts. And look, I still have that. Oh my goodness. Nothing. Just keep talking. There we go.
Okay. So we are not
We are
marriage
not
experts.
marriage
We're just a
experts.
couple who's been married a long time.
Right. Yes. And sometimes when you've been married a long time, you sort of maybe can pretend to be an expert, but
We know what we did wrong,
yeah,
and
we still
we
do
still
things.
stayed together through those wrong things.
Mhm.
There are a lot of marriage experts who say they're marriage experts who've been divorced numerous times.
Yeah, that's. I guess they looked at it like, okay, well,
We learned a lot.
we learned from our mistakes. I mean, it's another way to look at it. So we may not be an expert because we have not been divorced yet. I don't know. Do we have to get divorced and then we can talk about how that?
No.
Okay.
But parenting styles, that's my key takeaway as far as the parenting goes. They can be different without one being right or one being wrong. And I struggle with this, especially with Jack.
I will remember this,
No,
and I will play snippets of this part of this podcast
just like I played the
over and
snippets.
over and over, just to remind you of what you just said. Okay.
Well, but I'm usually right. I'm pretty sure that when it comes to Jack, I have sort of an intuition, and sometimes you don't trust that.
Okay. Woman's intuition.
But you don't trust that all the time.
No, I don't.
Okay.
No, I don't. And usually I'm wrong when I don't. But
Okay. So Bob and Helen, Mr. and Mrs. Incredible, they both care for their families. So what can we learn about them as a couple and apply it to our marriage? Okay, so here's mine. Sometimes in our desire to please others and be a good wife, we can allow ourselves to be stretched too thin. Being flexible is a great trait, but being a doormat is not. Being able to confidently express boundaries is necessary. And it's taken me, we've been married how long?
it will be 37 years this coming September 15th.
I would say it took me about 35 years to be able to confidently say things. I could yell them and I could nag them, but for me to be comfortable enough and say without assuming things about you, but to be comfortable enough to say, this is who I am, and these are the things I need. And not only do I need them, but I need you to step up and ensure that I have some time or, I was always bad. I'd wait until I was at my breaking point because I thought I was being a good wife or a good mother.
Yeah.
And so I would wait. I would say I thought that, I wanted you to know things or to be able to walk in the door and say, my wife's a little stressed. I noticed this. I wanted you to read my mind.
Yes, you did.
I did.
Yes, you did.
So I think I've gotten better at that.
I think you have. And I think I've gotten better at reading your mind too.
No, you haven't. Okay. So
No, but like you mentioned about the time thing, I think I'm a little more sensitive to that, and trying to let you have time, or at least offering to have you have time, to like recharge.
and as I've learned how to speak confidently
Mhm.
about what I need, I feel like I don't feel the same pressure I used to. And it's different. Most days I'm perfectly fine with the zoo that we've created.
The zoo. I like that.
Okay.
We now live in a zoo. Thank you.
And
now I will attempt to read your mind. You are thinking you need to move on to the next segment because you're running behind. Is that right? No, probably not. Okay.
So the other thing is, Mr. Incredible thinks that he needs to save the world, but also like he's saving his wife. She's part of what he needs to save. Like, he gets angry and upset because he says he can't lose his family, but he takes the whole responsibility of saving on himself. She doesn't need saving. She needs the family to work together. And this is where I'm going with all of this.
Uh-oh. Again, I am completely blind to her outline here.
No. So it's only learning that Mr. Incredible, what does he learn? What is the biggest thing he learns in this movie?
I think he learns that he needs to depend on other people, maybe do some cooperative working with people and not be a loner.
Not be a loner? Whoa, shocking. So he doesn't really come into saving the world and his full potential until he works with other people.
Yeah, that's odd. And I've been saying something about working with my wife.
We're working together.
And now it's starting to happen again. We used to work with each other a lot.
Okay, so
ago.
One of the things that I'm going to point everyone back to the Bible here.
Okay.
Because I do that.
I know you do that.
We're not created to be alone or work alone. Romans 4. Is it Romans 4? I don't know.
I don't have your notes. You've got your notes.
Just as each of us has one body with many members, and not all members have the same function, so in Christ, we who are many are one body, and each member belongs to one another. And it's all about, there's one body that has many parts, and all the parts work together. And their family is an example of that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the incredible family. And again,
they're incredible.
They are incredible. But I see where you're going with this now. But yeah, the family, when they work together, it's even more incredible. It really is. Yeah. It's like they all complement each other. Their strengths and weaknesses. One strength helps fortify another one's weakness. Not to overuse the word, but it is incredible. It really is to watch. Yeah. And again, I like the movie. We're not talking strictly the movie. We're talking about the relationships, but the movie is it's great. Marcus
for the next
loves
people, we're putting this out there for the next people who buy this house. There's a copy of the DVD in the family room between the baseboard and the wall.
Somehow we had one of the it was a DVD, I think, right?
Yeah.
And somehow, I don't know.
I thought it was Jack. He just held it over
He held it on the wall for a split second, let it go, and it literally dropped right behind the baseboard into the wall, right? And you can't get to it without ripping the baseboard off. So we had to get another copy of it. I think that one was skipping anyway, so it's probably okay. But the movie is so well done. Marcus loves the movie. It's his favorite. And that's saying a lot because he's very critical of a lot of things.
Marcus, for anyone who doesn't know, is our 18-year-old
son
who is very critical of most movies.
I mean, when you say when I say critical, I would say that from the point of view of like a reviewer or a critic, like an actual movie critic. And he'll look at it and say, well, there's this was weak. This didn't make sense, blah, blah, blah.
Here's a plot hole.
Yeah. This movie he loved. I mean, and again, I think part of it is because the family, it's such they're a normal, quote unquote, normal family, but they don't see them as normal because they're supers. But they have all the same little quirks that a quote unquote normal family would have. They have arguments, they fight, they don't always get along. They may not always tell each other the whole truth sometimes when they should. They have faults, they have failures.
Do you, at this point, do you just want to open up for questions or for...
Are you ready for that already?
I am.
It's been 40 minutes, so
yeah.
But yeah. I guess let's sort of review. I mean, I'm going to sort of pull this back to.
He wants to pull it back together.
To the movie a little bit. Yeah, I mean, the way that the family gets along together, and sometimes doesn't get along together. When they're in the van, that RV, and the kids say, "Are we there yet?" How many times have you been on a long road trip with the kids? And it's like, are we there yet? And what's Mr. Incredible say? We'll get there when we get there. And he's like, it's just like. Well,
no. I thought you were going to say about the van, how.
Oh, yeah. And then they're driving downtown. And he's asking his wife for, he's saying, we pull off here for downtown. She's like, go ahead.
I don't know the whole line.
I don't know the whole thing either, but she's like, no, you got to turn off a traction. But that'll take us, downtown. No, he wants to go this way. And it's like, just as they're getting to the exit ramp, that's when she says, you got to take this exit. And then they're,
How many times in Texas you did that? You ran.
I had a rented SUV and it's like, she's like, no, you got to take this exit. And I literally, I was past the exit already. And I went in the grass. I mean, going about 60 miles an hour in the grass.
You went across a couple lanes.
Across some lanes, swerving off there. And we've done that so many times. We're on a trip somewhere and she's like, you got to turn off here. And it's like 2 seconds. You have no time to think. And boom, you're making a turn.
But they have a lot of real life. You can identify with this couple.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't, maybe you're the perfect couple. I don't know.
But yeah, so if you, and apparently Mary hasn't, you haven't seen The Incredibles, you got to see it. I mean, what
are you waiting for?
You got to see it. I mean, the movie's, that came out, a long time ago.
If we asked Jack, he would know.
He would know. 2007?
No,
I think it was earlier. Maybe later. Anyway,
we can look it up. We can look
it up. We have this thing called a smartphone.
We smartphone.
Yeah,
we could even ask our phone to tell us.
Or we could yell down to Jack and he'd probably tell us even quicker. So we're going to do this here. When did The Incredibles come out? So I guess with that though, let's open it up to questions. 2004. There you go. Okay. She was quicker than I was. But it is a great movie. The family, the way they get along, the way that the adults sometimes get along, sometimes don't get along. They
have a lot to learn.
They have a lot to learn, but I think there's a lot to learn by watching them, as an example. And one of the lines that Mr. Incredible says toward the end, and I'm going to probably tear up just thinking of it and saying it, but he's basically they're trying to fight this thing. I'm not going to say all the details because I don't want to give everything away to Mary, but and he's basically telling his wife and the kids, stay back, I'll take care of this. And she, Mrs. Incredible's like, what, we're just going to sit on the sidelines and watch, no chance. And he's like basically telling them, no, you got to stay back here I need to do this alone. And his basically comes down to he doesn't want them to be there because he doesn't want to lose them. He doesn't want them to get hurt. He doesn't want them to get harmed. But he also doesn't understand that if they cooperate and they work together, they'll have a better chance of succeeding. But that's a tough situation right there. You know, you want to protect your family. You want to be the strong guy. You want to be the leader, the provider, the person who's going to take care of the family. But sometimes you gotta lean on your family. Sometimes you need to
let people in.
Let people in. Don't be the loner. Don't work alone. And sometimes to protect the ones you love, sometimes you need to let them maybe even fall into a little bit of risk and, you know, to help you out. So in the long run, you all have a better chance.
Okay. So Mary says, what about the second one?
The second one, I'm not a huge fan, just to be honest with you.
It's not horrid.
It's not horrid. Well, okay, I'm going to go animation style. I wasn't crazy about it. It just didn't seem.
How do I get rid of that?
Just do that. I didn't like the animation style as much.
The second one is not as good. Is good, but not as good as the first one.
Yeah, the first one's a classic.
Yeah.
It's almost like Mary Poppins versus Mary Poppins Returns. You can't. Once you have a classic, you can't make a sequel that usually lives up to the first one.
Well, and
that doesn't happen a lot. It's
I do
very
think
rare.
they try to push the feminist just a little too much in the second one.
And this is my wife saying this, not me, so I'm okay with that. Probably though, I would agree with you there. Like the woman power.
Yeah.
And the thing was with that, I mean, actually, that's sort of ironic in a way because in the second one, you know, Helen Parr, Mrs. Incredible, is the one who's basically the key person. She was doing it all on her own.
Yeah, but it didn't work, did it?
No, it didn't work.
And he was trying to fill in for a role that
he wasn't used to. He was trying to basically play them all.
And he was trying to hide from his wife that things weren't going as well.
Right.
So there was a lot of
I mean, there were a lot of good things about the movie, but I just didn't like the villain thing altogether. The whole mind control stuff.
It was a little harder to watch for kids.
It was a little more intense. Yeah.
Chris says letting people in communication is so very important, and it really is. I think the whole communication thing is where a lot of marriages get into trouble. If you're not communicating and you're not sharing your feelings and your thoughts, or if you're the one that's not communicating, a lot of times your spouse will feel like you're hiding something. And maybe you are, but it may be something simple that you're hiding. It may be just how you're feeling about something, but your spouse tends to, and I'm saying most spouses tend to think it's got to be much bigger. I mean, I know someone had shared with me once that they thought something horrific was going on with their spouse, and it turned out just like thinking of changing a job and but didn't want to worry
the spouse. Yeah,
yes.
and that's I've fallen into that trap more than a few times.
They worried the spouse. I mean, they're thinking their spouse is thinking about taking his life, and
I know they're
running off, and
there have been times, and I know this. I mean, there have been times where you've done this even when there wasn't anything going on, but. There have been times where I've had something weighing on my mind, like a job thing or a money situation or something going on. And I'm trying not to, I'm like, okay, this will probably pass. Is it worth making my wife worry about it? Or do I just keep it to myself for a few days and hope it blows over and then everything's fine, kind of thing. And I find out. It's like 99.9% of the time.
Oh, so what happened? I found out.
99.99999% of the time. You'll be like, what's going on? What's wrong?
Or somebody will say something. Like, I can't tell you how many times that has happened. Somebody will say something to me, and then I'm like, okay, I knew nothing about this. This is what he was hiding. Why did he hide this?
Yeah, and usually it's just something stupid. Whereas, like, again, I didn't want you to worry, didn't want you to have to stress over something, and so I just, or sometimes it might just be. I mean, there have been
we didn't
times
have time to talk.
we just didn't have time to talk.
But
And
is that real? Did we not have time to talk, or do we avoid talking because there was something you didn't want to talk about?
I think sometimes legitimately we just haven't had. We've both been busy with the kids or with work or with something going on, and apparently, just never really got to connect. Maybe sometimes, maybe I've been avoiding.
So Chris says that I'm assuming Paul's her husband.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He always knows when something's off with her.
Yeah. That's what she does to me.
You don't know. There's a lot of times you don't know when something's off with me.
Really?
Yeah.
It's that intuition thing. I don't know.
I just know.
I don't pick up on. I guess I don't pick up on those kind of cues like you do. And apparently Chris's husband does the same. He picks up on them, and so it's not just a guy or a girl thing. It's just a thing.
I think it's a thing.
And I think probably in most relationships, there's usually one person who does, pick up on some of those feelings or thoughts or emotions more than the other one does. I mean, that's part of the whole balancing act, I guess, in a marriage,
I think part of
person's
what
strength
yes,
helps with the other person's.
Part of what I feel like we have struggled with learning is that just because that our strengths could work together.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of me looking at things like, you are so different than me.
I'm so different.
And like you're probably from like another planet or something.
Well, that is that. I think that's the Vulcan.
Yes,
the Vulcan in me that comes out. There we go. So I could do it with both hands. The Vulcan.
And I can't do it with either hand.
I could do that. I can go open and close.
No. Watch. I could do this.
I could even do this.
Look, I could do this.
Nice. That's not even close to a Vulcan. So I can do this, like the dog barking thing. Arf, 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 arf.
Okay, stop.
Okay, but anyway, yeah. You were saying something about strengths. Working on.
Oh, so we. Is that a talent?
There's a big talent there, Mary. Watch it. Look, I can do it again. Arf, 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 arf. Or I can do this.
He's using his hand.
I can manipulate. Watch this. See? Both hands doing the Vulcan salute. I can do that. I can do it back and forth. I can do them in sync with each other. I can do that. I can even do that. And then I can do that.
Okay. So T9 says, I can always tell when Ed is troubled. I can sense it. Ed always knows when I'm troubled because I can't hide my emotions. So yeah, I guess if you're sitting there sobbing or if you're angry, that might be a dead giveaway.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I tend to, not that I tend to be very direct. I don't know if anyone's noticed that.
I've never noticed that in my entire life. You direct?
I'm very direct.
I don't believe it.
I am.
This is news. I mean, this is something I've never heard before.
But I'm very direct. And because I'm very direct, I do not hide a lot, especially from you.
No, I guess maybe that's the reason why I don't pick up on those kind of cues, because you usually
tell you. Boom. That's not true. He just implied that I hit him.
No, I did not. I was just, that was like.
You come.
You just come right in and bam. It's like, okay, this is what I'm thinking right now. Usually don't hold it back.
No, I don't.
Mary's like, direct? Patty? No, not Patty.
Okay, so I am very direct, so he doesn't have to guess. If I'm upset about something, he knows I'm upset. If I'm happy about something, he knows I'm happy. And my emotions are.
And I'm good with that, because I wouldn't be able to pick up on it if she kept it, hidden.
I'm up and down, my emotions wise. I'm not this like.
Sort of like our logo, the Disney
yes,
couples podcast. It goes up and down.
No,
it's
it's
sort of like
sharper. It goes sharper up and down. And you're like this.
I am. I'm Mr. Even Keel. That's
oh,
what
no,
I
there's
do.
a little blip once in a while.
Well, once in a great while, I might go boop like that.
No, but you know what?
Like
you do get angry.
I've gotten angrier more often lately. I don't know why. That's an inside joke. No, not at my wife.
Inside jokes.
Not at my kids.
Oh, it's the snakes in the garden.
The snakes in the garden are a problem. The snakes around the yard are a problem. And it's a sort of legit and also a metaphor at the same time.
Katie likes the second one.
Okay.
And T9 says, when I come home and the house shakes because I've slammed the door, he knows someone has honked me off. Honked me off. I've never quite heard that expression.
Well, it's better than what she's probably actually thinking.
Oh,
so honked me off is a good phrase, T9.
So, do I do things like that? Do I slam the door? No.
You have.
No, it's been years though.
But when you were younger, I think you did. Yeah.
Yeah. I've mellowed.
And you walk very heavily.
But I walk heavily all the time.
When you're mad, you're like boom, 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 boom.
He makes me sound like I'm a super wrestler.
We got to do sound effects for when this eventually gets over to the podcast side. So
eventually?
Yeah.
Are we waiting for you?
Boom, boom. Yes, it's waiting on me. It'll get done. Don't worry.
Okay. So
it's been a busy, you got to admit, this last week or so has been crazy busy.
My, yes, he is not joking. So when we work together, things are better. When you share feelings and thoughts and ideas, things are better. And we will work together when we work.
Okay.
No, I'm saying when things are working well between us. I struggle with.
Yeah.
Mark says.
Katie says that Mark says that she walks very heavy.
Oh.
So when she gets angry, apparently, watch out. Don't.
Kelly says.
Huh?
Kelly.
Kelly. That's weird. That one popped up.
I think that one partner is usually perceptive and the other is trying not to tick the other one off. So communication is key. Let the other person know how you feel, and neither party will have to guess or be upset when the other one is not a mind reader.
That's my mind reading sound effect. You like that?
Okay. Before we get to the next comment,
let's do that again. Ready? This is my mind reading sound effect.
How about we say when one party shows no
never
emotion,
see that anywhere
when
else.
one party shows no emotion at all, and I used to say, it's been years since I've said this, but I used to say, I really just want to get a sharpened pencil and stick you with it to see if you show emotion.
Yeah. Katie says that she doesn't get mad. It takes her a long time when she gets to get mad, but when she does, it's not pretty. Okay. What's T9?
The joke at our house is that Ed says he would never work for me because I'm a bear.
Oh.
My employees just look at him and wonder what he's talking about. It's because I go home and take it out on him, and one of them honks me off. She's okay.
Poor Ed. I'm sorry to hear that. My goodness. So she gets mad. So the workers, the people that work for her, tick her off throughout the day. It builds up. She doesn't do anything to them. But then poor Ed, bam, she
walks in the door, slams
the door.
He goes into hiding.
I'm sorry, Ed. If you see this or listen to this, I'm deeply sorry for you.
Chris says it takes me a long time to get angry, but watch out what I do. Irish temper.
Oh.
I don't know if that's politically correct.
I don't know if it is. Yeah, I think we may have to pull that.
Okay. Jason says, mine can read me like an open book. You can always tell what I'm thinking, feeling, and I only like that half the time. So.
Chris was saying about a science fiction sound effect. Yeah, that could work for that too. Okay, we're gonna do a sound effect here. Ready?
I hate this sound effect.
No, this is a good one. Ready? Okay.
I hate this. He thinks it's good. Tell him it's not.
That's my heartbeat sound effect.
Tell him it's not, and that maybe he will never do it again.
Tell me that it's good, and maybe I won't do it again.
I'm sitting here with my head in my hands.
I'm sorry. It's been it's
been 7 weeks
on the live stream
it's been
show.
7 weeks.
7 weeks for what? Oh, that. Okay. 7 weeks, fans. It's been 7 weeks. Mary knows what we're talking about.
7 weeks. But my mother is living with us 7 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Ed doesn't get angry. On the rare occasion he does get mad, we all run for cover. Oh. Ooh.
Ed got a little temper there when he gets
Annette
mad.
says my hubby is very mild-mannered. People think Jeff is very mild-mannered. He is not.
I am.
You're even killed with your emotions, but you are not always mild-mannered.
If I get ticked off, I could. I don't necessarily snap or anything like that, but
Katie says Mark is the same way. Then he tries to hide it. So, Mary, seven long weeks.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mary, very long weeks. We have what, about 2 or 3 more?
Two.
Okay.
2.
Yeah. Maybe that'll be worth what, $50. Another inside joke.
Will you stop it?
Oh yes, but so what else can the Incredibles tell us? I think they've told us a lot already.
They have told us a lot.
But Mary, you got to see the Incredibles. What's she
Okay,
saying?
Mary said, I had a lovely, nice, quiet house to come to, and now Nevaeh and Steve are here ruining my peace.
Oh, yeah. Okay, moving into a new house, so she's been able to.
Yes.
She's been hiding out in the new house, huh?
Pretending to do work.
Yeah. She's been pretending to do work and watching podcasts and live streams. And
See, that asked how many hours left.
how many hours left? Oh my goodness.
Each one feels like. Isn't there a passage in the Bible about how to God?
I'm counting the seconds at this
a
point.
day is like, I don't know.
Oh man.
Mary, that's exciting. We have slept here the last couple of nights.
That's always fun. I remember when we slept in this house the first few times. Long time ago.
We didn't even have a bed.
21
We
years.
were sleeping in the basement.
Didn't we? Well, we did.
Because the furniture wasn't in.
We had the pull-out bed in the basement.
Our furniture wasn't in.
Yeah, so we didn't have actually bedroom furniture at first when we moved in here.
Yeah.
But didn't we do like a camp out type thing in the family room? I don't even
Christmas
think
Eve.
the carpeting
Was it
wasn't.
Christmas Eve?
It might have. Yeah, with carpeting wasn't even in.
Or did we just come on Christmas
We
morning?
put up a little fake Christmas tree, and
No, we had a real Christmas tree.
at the other house, but we had
No, here. We had a real one here.
Did we?
I thought we bought. Was that real or fake? The one that they decorated with paintbrushes.
I thought that was a fake one.
Oh.
We had a real one. But
The contractors decorated with paintbrushes and things they
that's
found
right. The
around house.
contractors threw things on. Yeah, they had paintbrushes and stuff hanging from it. That was fun.
Kelly says, I let things bother me far too long, then I get upset when no one knows why. And
I guess my suggestion is
look
try
at
to
what
be
T-Nina says.
more open, and then maybe it
says
will
there's a
build up.
passage in the Bible that says honor your parents. We are trying.
We are
trying.
very honorable. We
We
are
are
being
trying.
very honorable. Yes, we are.
Okay, so with the Incredibles, I feel like Mrs. Incredible, Helen Parr, was slow to anger.
Was she?
I think so.
She held it in a few times though. She had like her fists up, like the kids would do something, and she'd be like, "Ooh," and then she'd like pull it back. I don't know if she was slow to anger, but she
didn't react.
Held it in. There were a few times where she,
you know what? She really should have just taken her Elastigirl arm and wrapped it around her husband's neck.
Now that's not nice. It could cause asphyxiation.
Yeah, he lied to her repeatedly, and
to try and protect her.
And he was bowling. Remember that? The bowling? with the rubble on his shoulder.
Yeah, bowling night was not all it seemed to be. Yeah.
Mary says that's why my dad lives with us.
Yeah.
And
that's why
okay.
her mom's living with us. And
I am learning after
the alternatives
years.
are not, we don't want to do the alternatives.
Kelly said, I'm learning after 29 years that I just need to tell people, especially my husband, good or bad, let people know how I feel.
Good,
yes.
good,
yes.
good. That's a good direction to go in.
T9 says she held it in a lot longer than she would have. I agree. That's a different movie altogether. Which movie?
I'm not sure. What other movie were we talking about? We weren't really talking about.
I don't know. Kelly, you need to tell us what movie.
Kelly, tell us what movie.
Because we missed something.
Yeah.
It went over our
Unless
heads.
it was Christmas or something. Or maybe she's talking about, the mother or mother-in-law living with.
Oh.
Maybe there's a movie on that or something.
Okay, so Kelly, I don't know if you were here when I was saying about how I really have worked very hard to, and I probably didn't say it this way. I've really worked hard at dealing with childhood trauma. And I had a traumatic childhood, and people look at me. I remember when I first spoke those words that I had a traumatic childhood, and I was talking to a group of friends, and the one said, "What happened in your childhood that was traumatic?" And I started rattling off some stuff, and they said, "Oh, so." And a lot of it were very common things. Well, some of it was common things, like all of my grandparents, died by the time I was, 12, 13.
See, mine were gone by the time I was probably 4 or 5.
But I had a cousin that we played with that I was, 7, 8, 9. She was hit by a car and died. But my brother was shot when I was 7. He lived, but, he was in the hospital in critical condition. And back then you couldn't go see. My sister, Lynn, was laying in the hospital dying when I was 5. And she lived.
She lived.
But
and then your brother getting shot. I mean,
I
but then he almost got shot another time.
No. Oh, but he, he was near death a couple times.
Dragged by a horse.
But that was when I was an adult.
Yeah.
But then when I was
Mary's saying, you can't say someone's trauma is minor.
Well, and, I almost drowned when I was 5, 6, 7.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So there were lots of little
Why
things.
are you as normal as you are?
I'm not.
You should be committed or something. I don't know.
And there were some other things on top of all of that. And so, I feel like through a lot of that, like I never knew how to verbalize through all of those things. When a grandparent dies now, I feel like we know so much more about how that affects a child that we have books about it and we talk about it. And back then, nobody talked about stuff like that. Like nobody talked to you about when your dad died, did they?
No.
So
I don't know if anyone still has.
I've tried to. But so it's those type of things that I feel like when they build up, you lose your voice. You lose your ability to say, okay, there's an issue here because, and it seems so trivial. Like if you're unhappy with the color you paint your bedroom, like that seems so trivial compared to some of the other things you've been through that you just don't voice things. You learn not to voice things. Mm-hmm. And you basically are told that these things are trivial. And so I've learned to speak.
Yes, you have.
Without yelling.
Sometimes, yes.
When's the last time I yelled?
I don't know. This morning?
Oh, he is such. There you go, lying to the public.
You yelled from downstairs up here. You yelled something to me, and you said it was just because you wanted to be heard, so you had to yell from downstairs to upstairs. But that was yelling, wasn't it? I was yelling. Just giving her a hard time.
Okay, folks.
So are you
I'm
done?
about done with you.
Are you about done with me?
Yes.
Okay. That's good.
Okay, so next week, are we not having a show?
I don't think so. I mean, with the 4th of July, the parade and stuff going on that day.
Here's the thing. Some people are off on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. By Monday night, these people are going to be saying they'll do anything to get away from their families.
It's up to you. I mean, if you want to.
I don't know. Well, we can leave it up to them.
We could. We could put a poll out there.
Mary says we are off on Monday.
Yeah. See,
I
a lot of people are going to be off that day. They're probably going to, do picnics. They're going to do parades. They're going to do all the things that, we sort of missed this past year because of, the virus and everything. I'm thrilled that we're going to be able to do a parade. I'm thrilled for Marcus that he's going to be able to be in the parade, as the 4-H king for our county, because he's missed out on a lot of stuff since last September as 4-H king that they haven't done because of COVID. So, yeah, I just feel like it's going to be a busy day. By the time we get to the end of the day, we're probably going to be saying, a little tired.
Oh, look at Mary is off on Monday, and T9 says I closed all offices July 5th through the 9th. I'm going to Texas.
Ooh, Tyler, Texas, maybe.
Is that why would she be going to Tyler, Texas?
Because I think she likes Tyler, Texas.
Mary wants us to take a holiday break.
I think we should.
Well, we will put a poll up for our next Disney couples. Yeah. And then we'll probably do it 2 weeks from now.
We'll take a vote on it. Yeah. But this one overwhelmingly everyone, not everyone, but overwhelmingly got voted as the next one people wanted.
Which I'm really surprised.
Well, out of the 4 that we picked, I wasn't completely surprised.
I thought Beauty and the Beast would.
I was surprised it didn't come closer, but yeah, we'll see. But
T9, that's where I'm from and where my parents live. I haven't seen them since Christmas 2019.
I got a memory like a trap here. Everything just sticks in my head.
What's my name?
Begins with a P.
Mary's already saying Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, see? Yeah, I think that'll probably be the next one that people want to hear about.
I do like Rapunzel and Flynn Rider.
I do too. That's a good one. I like that couple.
Well,
eventually we'll get to them.
There are some
of these couples are messed up, man.
Some serious issues. She hits them with a frying pan constantly. You didn't ever notice that?
That's true. That's true. She did have a thing with the frying pan. What's this? And that says she's going to be trapped in her house all this weekend. Can't leave. Because tourists and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you're going to have fun. Whew.
Belle and Beast build a relationship, and I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so T9.
Patricia. That's it. Your name's, Patty. She likes Patty better. Is it Patricia or just plain Patty? What do you think? What?
It's not pretty when people call me Patricia.
She doesn't. It is Patricia, but she does not like being called Patricia. Except somehow, my longtime oldest best friend.
He doesn't get away with it. I cringe every time he does it.
Calls her Patricia all the time. And when he says it, it's in loving jest.
No, it isn't.
Oh yes, it is.
I'm gonna be in some psych ward. I'll be telling the psychiatrist is because Dave called me Patricia.
Not many people get away with calling her Patricia and live to tell the tale.
Katie says Beauty and the Beast is one of my couple. I think she meant favorite.
Favorite couple. Probably,
yes,
yeah.
Favorite couples.
Yeah, sometimes you type and you get ahead of yourself.
My real name is Catherine, and I don't like to be called that. Katie, don't tell people your real name's Catherine.
So now,
See, I think most people assume.
Catherine. I can't think of you as a Catherine.
I know people who, on their birth certificate, their name is Katie.
Yeah.
Most people just assume that if your name's Patty, it's Patricia on your birth certificate.
Yeah. Mary says that she never really had a nickname and she likes that. I never really had a nickname. Like in grade school, there was Jeff the Pef. Made no sense whatsoever. It just rhymed. So somebody called me Jeff the Pef. Mallow Cup, because my last name was Moliterno. And the closest thing they could come up with, see, every day I had a jelly and peanut butter sandwich, bag of Fritos, and a Reese cup. That was my lunch almost every day in grade school. My bag lunch. And since I had a Reese cup every day, somebody said Mallow Cup. It's not the same thing, fans. Mallow Cup is nothing like a Reese cup, but that was the closest thing they came up with.
So that was stupid. Kids in school are stupid.
Jeff the Pef and Mallow Cup. Oh, and the Professor. That one I actually enjoyed. The Professor, because they saw me as a smart kid, which I was. I was a smart kid, and so they were saying it sort of, not necessarily in kindness, but I enjoyed that name because I felt like I was the professor from like Gilligan's Island. I was always the one trying to fix things. And
my real name is T9S. People sometimes don't call me anything because they don't know what to say. And you know what? Really, like I see it and it says T9. That makes perfect sense. But when I first saw it, I'm like,
I thought it was T-Nina.
No, T-Nina.
T-Nina.
Nina.
Yeah, I remember first time. I remember actually when T-Nina would do her comments on some of our shows years ago when she started commenting, and I would just try to avoid saying her name. I'd just say, oh, and then this person said, and eventually after a few times, and she's like, you're just avoiding my name, aren't you? I said, yeah, pretty much. I said, can you give it to us phonetically? Let us know how to pronounce it. And ever since.
Good thing she knew phonics. Chris, when I was little, I was Chrissy, Christy, or Crink.
Crink?
No idea why on that last one. Crink?
Chris?
People are so...
Crink. That doesn't make sense. That's like Jeff the Pef. That doesn't...
Okay, so if we do Beauty and the Beast, we have to come up with something to wear.
Okay, we could do that.
What are we going to wear?
Do you know what you could have done? Is that pretty good?
Douglas does.
Douglas does it. Really. It's okay.
Jack.
we call it, they're interchangeable.
The thing is, it really was to me a big deal when he wasn't verbal, and he couldn't tell people what his name was, and I didn't want people to see him and know who he was, and for him to think because they knew his name, he knew them.
Right. I know what you're saying. It was more for his protection when he was younger. I know, but we still call him that.
We do.
Yeah.
And he knows it.
Yeah.
He's okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could say Douglas. We could say Jack, and he answers to both now. Katie's saying, or wait, is that Katie or is that Catherine?
See, I told you, Katie.
I'm sorry, Katie.
Okay.
Jeff in blue shirt and Patty in yellow shirt or dress that could. Okay. So like, yeah, the yellow, like the dress.
Yeah, I don't have a yellow dress.
We may have to do some like sort of creative Disney bounding for that one because I'm not going to wear a beast mask.
Beauty and the Beast may take 2 weeks of research. So much depth in that story.
Yeah.
They're really. Is he truly a beast or is he?
We'll have to talk about that in a couple of weeks if that's what people pick.
Is he truly a beast or is that just his behavior?
Or is that his way of withdrawing from society?
There are so many.
Stay tuned for more details.
There are so many plot holes in that story.
There are some plot holes in that story.
Lots.
But we're not going to talk about the movie as much as we're talking about the
characters.
We
can talk about the movie a little now.
We can.
Like the major plot hole to me is, why would
Why what?
Now in the live action, they did it different.
Yeah. But in the original animated one,
He was like, what, 11?
he was like 12, 11, something like that, when supposedly the spell was put on the castle. But he aged, and he was like 21 or whatever at that point. And when he came back as, still called Beast. They never really gave him a name in the movie. That whole Adam thing, I think that was after the movie came out and was released. They finally sort of gave him sort of a name. But how did he age? Mrs. Potts, or there was a Chip. Chip was not. I mean, how could he? 12 years couldn't have passed. Chip would have been an older kid too, or a young adult, or a teenager, or something. But yet Chip was still a little kid. He Cupstone age. That's possible. But beasts do.
Yes.
But what about a teapot? Did Mrs. Potts age?
No.
So many things we can delve into with that. But that's not the point of Beauty and the Beast. We're going to talk about the relationships.
No, we're going to talk about the relationships.
Yeah.
Yes, because they have an odd relationship.
Very much so.
Like most of us.
Okay.
Well, this has been incredible.
This has been incredible. I've had an incredible time, and I hope you have too. So
we should have had some incredible puns.
Yes, we could have, but we didn't. We're just not as incredible as we thought we were.
We could have been more incredible.
Yeah, but I think it was a pretty incredible show. What do you think? Are we just going to go back and forth and keep saying incredible?
I going to say incredible one more time? How many times did we say incredible? Reminds me of, I don't know if you heard.
My. Yes. We'll have an incredible evening. Thank you. Thank you, Kelly. T9 is saying the only live creature was the beast. Everybody else was turned into a supposedly inanimate object. True.
Katie says it was an amazing show.
You.
Chris said it was very incredible.
Yeah, see, we were very incredible. So,
did you learn anything about relationships?
I hope so. And I gotta do this for poor Dash over here. He's been hiding away behind me almost the entire show. There we go. There's Dash.
That's a bad picture of him.
It is a bad picture of him. But anyway, so we still don't really have an actual show closing thing. What did we do last week?
I don't know.
I did Mickey Mouse because it was Mickey and Minnie last week.
We need to rewatch last week and figure out.
And I think I said something like, see you, pals. See you, pals.
So T9 learned not to lie to your spouse because she didn't know that before.
She might not have.
Well, that's true.
I mean, it's possible.
That's true. I actually wanted really that your differences.
It took me a long time to learn that one. I still forget sometimes.
I really want people to learn that.
There you go. See you real soon.
Okay, so
we'll try
parenting. You can have different.
Thank you, Mary. Mary's always coming through for us.
Ideas on parenting. You really probably need to provide a united front in front of the kids. We were bad at that.
T9 says, I don't lie. It does me no good. I'm a
terrible liar. Okay. But really, I think the key thing with this movie, the number one key thing is we all have different strengths. Mm-hmm. And it's by working together that we reach our full potential and that we can accomplish great things.
Okay. So are we going to keep working together? Is that our lesson?
That's your lesson. Your lesson is don't lie to your wife.
Okay.
And listen to her.
Okay.
Listen to her voice.
And your lesson is when your husband says we need to work together more, that you should listen. She's not listening. Apparently, she's not buying that part.
Chris says combined strengths, even if they are very different. And you know that I do believe that God puts us together with people who have complementary strengths. Like, you know, in an area where I'm not very good, you might be very good, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
And we can complement each other.
Yeah.
But communication is key. No matter new or old relationship, try to understand where the other person is coming from, united front, and together is better than individually. Okay, well, you summed it up perfectly. Our job here is done.
Thank you, Kelly.
Okay, we have the same parenting ideas. Pepper and Bear know they are going to get in trouble from either of us when they are bad.
T9, I don't know. Are you talking kids there? Or are you talking animals? I'm not sure.
Are Pepper and Bear animals? Or are they their pet kids' names?
I think they might be pets.
I think they're kids.
But they could be like kids. You know how, pets can be like kids. Or they could be your kids. I don't know any of your kids named Pepper or Bear, but maybe they're nicknames.
Maybe that's like Jack.
Oh, man. I'm without words.
You were very much like Mr. Incredible with the first three kids. They literally could have been running around the table fighting, and you would have been reading the newspaper, letting me deal with it.
Well, I never really was a newspaper reader, but I probably would have been looking at something on a computer or, something like that. Yeah. I would have been reading a technical manual or something to that effect.
I don't think I was supposed to say see you real soon. I think you were.
I think I am too. So anyway.
Well, what was I supposed to say?
I don't know. What do you want to say? Huh?
It's been incredible.
It has been incredible. And so I think we're going to take off July 5th.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So T9 says we don't have kids. They are all grown and out of the house. Yeah. Only Pepper and Bear live with us.
See? I told you they weren't kids, but they're like kids.
Oh, Mary, do you need me to read to Nevaeh? Because I can read to Nevaeh. We can read.
Oh, you read to her last summer, right?
Yeah, we could do something.
Yeah, that was fun. Tina, I know you have kids. I knew that, but they are responsible for their own lives now. Okay, that's good. Well, they raised the kids. They grew up.
Oh, Mary, I wish I could.
No.
We could do summer camp at my house.
Got the pool, we got
Mary, maybe you need to come visit us.
All the grandkids were here today swimming.
Bring Nevaeh and come visit.
That'd be fun. It's a bit of a drive, but that'd be fun. Could have a, picnic, get the grill fired up, make some hamburgers, hot dogs, steaks, maybe even. Be a good time. Good time. Frozone. I don't know why I'm thinking of Frozone right now.
Okay.
Anyway, you all ready?
I don't know what I'm saying. You were saying see you real soon, but we're good. These are the things we're not good at.
No, we don't know how to close the show.
Not a strong closer. I think I do need to come visit. Nevaeh and Steve are grating on each other's nerves.
And Steve says that, they've driven to Ohio before. Used to go Longaberger. Yeah.
We lived here. We never went to Longaberger.
Yeah, it's like 45 minutes, maybe an hour from us.
It's not open anymore.
No, they closed it.
And the Big Basket they're remodeling or doing something.
They're doing something with the Big Basket building. T9 is saying, see, Mary, if you worked for me, you would have all next week off and could go to Ohio. Yeah, you could do that.
Okay, Chris says, all right.
Have a
wonderful night. Have a good night. Dresden was a cute little town. Never been there. And how far is it away? A couple hours?
Maybe.
Okay. Maybe. So thank you all for watching. We are delighted that you have allowed us to come into your homes, and this has been an incredible night.
Yes, it has been an incredible night. And we will see you real soon. Is that it? You done? Thanks, guys. Have a magical week and have a safe and fun 4th of July celebration this coming weekend. So, hey, we drive to Ohio on Friday. We get hungry for Schlotzsky's, and closest one is Toledo. Wow, that's a little far for us, but anyway.
Well, maybe we should drive to Schlotzsky's on Friday.
We could do that.
Okay.
About 3 hours for us. Anyway, again, have a magical week, and we'll see you real soon.